also true. I forgot about that. Time change is a thing.
No, it's not.
It says I'm live on YouTube.
I'm looking at it right now.
You are live. That other reminder is still up there, but we can deal with that later. But yes, we are live. Das correcto.
No habla español. There we go.
And you're not live on the Twitches yet.
All I see is a yellow dot.
Oh, I think we are becoming live on the Twitches. Looks like we are live on the Twitches.
There we go. I can hear us on the YouTubes.
We just have the wrong fucking thing.
I haven't checked the sound quality, to be honest.
Damn, I hate
Oh, hey, we're live.
Yep, we are live. Wonderful.
It's the Villains
Hello.
Talk Show.
Hello, everyone. Welcome, to the Villains Talk Show and wonderful podcast. Things and stuff, and magical tavern
We have
tales,
everyone here today.
hailing taverns. Yeah, you can tell the whole squad is here.
All 7 of us.
All 35 villains are present and accounted for.
Except for that one guy.
Yeah, man, Bob really just shit the bed today.
He really did.
Hello, our 1 viewer on YouTube and our 7 viewers on Twitch. Hello, everybody. Today's Tavern Tale Fridays. Woo!
And mathematics with C4.
We did it.
Oh, you know what? The YouTube is still... God, I'm so dumb. Why don't you guys tell me things?
We've been
I
telling you
did.
things. We've been telling you things that tell the stuff. It's still on the circle.
You just don't listen to us.
Yeah, you got to transition from the wibbly wobbliness.
Or we just have the wibbly wobbliness and then we just talk over that.
Yeah, that's also true. Now I see the wibbly wobbliness is gone. Wibbly wham wham wibbly blah blah. Alrighty, yeah. Welcome to the wonderful Tavern Tales. Today, Lovely and St. X is going to be starting off tonight's game. We're going to be doing a kind of a series of short stories we will potentially be returning to later on. Starting off with a kind of deserty kind of twist for those who are familiar with Fallout New Vegas. It's a little inspired in that kind of sense, but not the same. Just a little kind of. So we're starting off with our crew as we as the setting kind of is set through a winding desert. As we take a look at what essentially looks like
Did you say a winding desert?
a winding desert.
A whining desert, yep.
Yep, it
Oh,
winds too.
God.
If
Full
at
of
least you
great
could hear the whining from the
It
people
sounds
inside
like
the car.
It sounds like my dead grandmother already.
Yeah, sure.
It's too dry in this desert.
Oh, I
feel
was
like-
thinking
I feel
the
like
other
that's gonna
kind
be
of
the
wine
pixie.
where it's just full of like fermented grapes.
That's a good wine too.
Pixie.
That wine doesn't come very often in the desert.
Says
As we see this this essentially sand crawler, which looks like a series of 2 Humvees that have kind of been attached to each other with treads on the bottom like a tank. And as it crawls through the sand, going over dunes to a series of hills, as it approaches kind of looks like a township kind of district in the background. Like a old western-y kind of looking at town, a few houses on the side. Within the wonderful Sandcrawler Humvee, we have a series of interesting, wonderful cast of characters. We'll start off with our wonderful people here. C4, feel free to describe your wonderfulness if you'd like to go first.
So we're in a sand crawler.
Yes. And it's like an armored Humvee of sorts inside. So there's like cages that you can grab onto. There's a series of kind of weapons, some kind of like water skin.
Probably underneath one of the seats, like behind one of the luggage by themselves, just kind of sitting there, stewing to themselves, would be this tiny little winged figure with scars all over them, and an eye patch.
Where's the eye patch?
Over their left eye.
not both eyes.
No, there's an eye patch here. And and they have a little tiny cigarette in their mouth, and they're just the size of a pixie, and they're if because they're a bounty hunter by trade. They're just looking over different bounties and their little tiny little pieces of paper by themselves. It's like
Um,
imagine like a rustic camp with like a little fire, except they're like just behind a piece of luggage underneath a seat.
yeah, you got like some other dudes like bug bag kind of sitting right beside you.
Yeah,
You
and
guys
I
both
have
kind
like
of
a
shut up.
little fire, and I'm like in a
Just
tent. It's like
it's pretty much like a little space heater that's like giving off its own little like warmth and
exactly.
light
But
right
it's
beside
like,
your own little kind of like weird
but if
glow.
you didn't know I was in a Humvee, it would like it just looks like I'm in the dark wilderness, like outside camping.
Yeah, the Humvee's got only a series of small like LED lights. It's not very bright. It looks like the inside of a very like military kind of style cabin.
I
Very
look
dark.
like I don't like look like I'm wearing armor. It looks like I'm just wearing like little pieces of leather, I guess, that I would make shift as armor. And I have this little tiny. I guess it looks like a sword, but it's like
Probably a letter opener to most
it's like
people.
this big. And then the other thing I have is it's hard to see, but it's statted as a longbow, but it's a hand crossbow.
We have two of those. Those are both different things, but I'll let you have it. Alrighty. And as you're kind of sitting there looking over some papers and things, you see one of the other newer guys that you're kind of familiar with. Kind of like you see a big boot kind of step by you as he kind of like pats you on the shoulder. This guy named Phil
Pats
that you kind of
pats me
like
on the
two
shoulder with his
fingers kind of
boot.
pats you on your. Well, no, he steps and pats you on your shoulder with a few fingers as he kind of like, oh, it's all right, man. We're gonna go check out this place. You ready? You excited or what?
I, I look at him and I like put my cigarette on his
You know this
finger.
guy as Phil.
Yeah, and I just shake my head. Just don't touch me, Phil.
He just kind of like looks at his finger. "Oh, the little guy's a little spicy as he walks away, and he looks over to the other character that is new to the group. Caden, would you like to describe yourself?
I need to get the voice ready.
Oh boy, I don't know what I'm about to hear, but I'm excited.
What is the little kobold?
Wow. Oh boy, this is gonna be difficult.
Bright red in skin, with pair of sunglasses, and a very nice ornate ring.
What's your
Ooh.
AC?
Yes,
You don't know yet.
I'm asking for a
Wearing-
friend.
wearing almost like a leather coat
Hmm.
with a gun strapped to his back and daggers at his hip.
Ooh, two spicy short boys.
And he has his little tail wagging, excited to see the world.
And Phil kind of looks at you. He's this like kind of like you would almost think he would be a dark elf, except his skin is like very yellow and tan, almost the same color as the sand. And he looks at you and he kind of like gives you an eye. He's like, "Oh, I don't know what your name is yet," but he's just looks at you. He's just like, "Oh, you ready? I don't think the little one is too friendly. You know, what do you think?"
My name is Waffle.
Oh, hey, Waffle. I'm Phil. And then as he says that, this bigger guy comes back behind him and smacks Phil in the back of the head. And you guys know this guy as Dommy, and he's this like big like humanoid character, this big greasy like beard. And he smacks him in the head. He's like, "Shut the fuck up, Phil. Get over there and sit in your fucking corner. I don't know one wants to hear what you have to say." And he just kind of like, "Well, sorry," and just kind of like walks on by and goes and sits by himself. And in this Humvee, there are a series of people.
Phil.
He like waves as he sits down. And in the Humvee, there
Can
are
I identify who's like the leader in this
yeah,
Humvee?
yeah. So I was about to break that down. You guys would be kind of familiar, so you don't really need to identify in that same regard. But I'll break it down. So for among
Well, I
you
want
guys
to
is the
identify.
newer. You already know. So I'm telling this to you right now, as someone who joined this Merc band. As the new people that are here right now, currently the newbies are you two and Phil and another guy named Bob, who is Sitting in the back, he's like a halfling, but he looks a bit tall for a halfling, and he just kind of looks like he's also really nervous, and it's just like he looks like he's not dealing with motion sickness very well, as the entire Humvee's just kind of bounced around the entire time. And then amongst them, there are three kind of more senior guards, not the leader of sorts, which is Dami, this human male with the bigger kind of scruffy beard. There's a female dwarf named Phyllis, and she's like very butch, completely clean shaven, but has like a stubble kind of set up, and she's got like a scar across her face, and it looks like almost like a burn going down the side of her, the other side. And there is a looks to be kind of like like you wouldn't be able to identify him. Looks like a silent kind of like character, just fully decked out in armor, like all dark, kind of darkish colored, but with a few kind of like beige off tone cloak. His name is Nautis. You haven't really kind of he doesn't talk a lot, but you've kind of seen him from afar. And amongst them, you've noted the one that recruited you and you signed up for at the start is this Fire Dunasi. His name is uh, Periux. I'm not sure if I came up with pronunciation. I know this guy's name. I know what I'm talking about. That's his name,
Sure.
Periux. And he's a Fire Ganassi, and he kind of seems to be like not so much like giving orders, but he's just kind of standing. Nautis is driving the sandcrawler as he's holding onto one of the top bars, just looking out at the horizon. As this sandcrawler, it has one bigger kind of like glass port window with a series of two smaller like shuttered like windows that you can close and open to like to see as they go forward. As the Humvee kind of crawls along forward, and near that he Parax turns around and he looks back. He says, "We're 30 minutes out. Be ready for deployment. I'll be there in a short few moments to get your gear ready, locked and loaded to go. We're about to approach on this refugee town. They've told us about a series of monsters that have been terrorizing us. We're here set to clear them out and find them a new place to stay if necessary, or destroy the monster's nest if possible."
I'd fly in over to the Perix, and I'd like have my smoke lit and like
He
pull
just
it
kind
out.
of stares at you.
What can you tell us about these monsters, there, boss?
We haven't heard too much in the way of that regard. Most of them, from what we've heard, seem to be some kind of subterranean-based creatures. They seem to use their facials, some kind of structure to attack and to burrow through the ground. I'm not quite familiar. This is just the description I've received, but needless to say, we have a hunch of where their hideout is. There's a couple caves offset of this town, and we're gonna send a few of you to come check it out while the rest of us kind of negotiate with the townsfolk.
Do we have a layout of the town? Map, possible vantage points?
With that, Noctis turns around from the sandcrawler. He pushes a button, and all of a sudden he doesn't have to. He let go of the steering wheel, and the seat just turns like an automatic kind of thing. And he holds out his hand as this green light kind of pops out. It's like a green kind of disc, and this green bluish kind of like hologram pops up, and you see a layout of what looks to be probably 8 different houses. One looks like a smaller general store. There's a few kind of small towns ish. There's a schooling area, and it also shows like a series of like it looks like kind of like you would expect to be a mountain, but it only covers about part of it, as you see the caves that it kind of is suggesting from what he talks about. And Noctis, he holds it up and he kind of says in a kind of more like computerish monotone voice, he says, houses are here and general stores here. We have familiar details of the attacks, the caves to the east location and from underground within some of the homes themselves. So there could be a possible series of tunnels. He hands it to Periax, and he turns around and presses the button back on the thing and grabs the steering wheel and keeps going. Parax just kind of nods and he holds it up and he says, "Any other further questions? Feel free to inspect the hologram."
Do we have any lists of casualties?
Casualties have been in the numbers of 15 to 20 so far. This town was somewhat small, and from what we're aware, their numbers are not very numerous at the moment.
I take a long drag of my cigarette. Sounds like a small town's even smaller now.
Indeed. Well, perhaps we can accomplish our mission fairly quickly then.
Who knows? Another set of townsfolk displaced from their homes ended up wandering the deserts aimlessly. They might as well just doom them to die now. Why even go save them? They're just gonna wander trying to find a place in this endless hellhole that we call the wasteland.
As you drag on your cigarette, he looks over and he says, Waffle, Phil, Bob, and what was your name, Pixie?
I look at him and like blow out that long drag I take in and say, they call me Rainbow Shine. Star Pixie, Rainbow Shine.
Alright, it's Star Rainbow. Well, you and Dami are going to inspect caves while me, Felis, and Noctis remain on close to this town. Noctis will maintain perimeter of the vehicle while the two of us breach leaders of the town. You five will inspect the caves and deter any entities that come to threaten our presence at the same time. Any questions?
Waffle is talking to his ring. Just whispering.
It's like looking at his ring, kind of. It doesn't really too. No one seems to be too phased by it. You see, Dami is like he's actually like eating this giant like you would think it's a sandwich, but it almost looks like it's made of stone and like sand just on its own, and then it has like sections
So
of
it is a
cheese.
sandwich.
Almost, yeah, but it's
It's
like
made out of
very
sand. It's a
yeah,
sandwich.
yeah, exactly. See, there you go. Now you're
Magic
thinking
sand.
now you're thinking with kobold mind, and it's got layers of cheese and like dried kind of like jerky and like just really odd like colored. You would think maybe fruits, could be vegetables. You're not really sure. It's odd, and he's just shoveling this shit in his face right now, breaking off apart, and he's just looks like he's gearing up in his own way. Fila seems to be going over her equipment. She's checking her series of her firearms as she pulls out a large kind of two-handed caliber rifle, and then she pulls out one of her sidearms. As she has this large pistol, she pulls out the clip, make sure it's all loaded, figuring out her magazines, make sure she's got a couple extra on hand. And Dami says,
I
I
like
will be
pick up
seal setting
sticks
to the
from
caves.
like the ground and like sharpen them into bolts. Just,
Aren't
like,
that many ways in the way of sticks in this armored
no, but
Humvee?
like anything that's like little pieces of wood, because I'm like
Okay.
this big.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. There would be like a. No, I'll roll a thing.
like toothpicks are big
Yeah, I
enough
got
to
you.
get yeah, like.
Pixies aren't that small.
Aren't I thought
I
they're
got
like
That's the box.
I thought they're like 3 inches tall.
You're a little shorter than Waffle here. Not that much shorter. But like, yeah, definitely like a good 5 inches, I would think.
I thought pixies were 3. Well, 5 inches is only like that big.
Bears are tiny.
Yeah. So is a kobold. And
I know because
Kobolds are small.
5 inches is still like 3 inches shorter than. Never mind.
Tell me more about your measurement in inches, please.
I'm
sure
just
we've
saying
heard
that
this one before. What's your
5 inches
case? I don't.
is still not very.
You know. Anyways, so yeah, you find what looks to be a series of like about a 2 foot long plank here, and then you see another one kind of further on. They're a little jagged and broken, probably dehydrated as fuck because they just look like scrap wood that's just on the ground
That's
on
fine.
the
That
bottom of the
makes
Humvee.
perfect. That's perfect for bolts.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Yeah, if you want, you can make. We'll do a survival check to see if you can make a effective stake bolt of pure wood. Or I'll let you do nature if you want, but I think survival seems a little more apt.
What is? I like survival over nature.
Cool. Do the thing.
I mean, we could do stealth too. I like stealth.
That's not the same thing for this.
So that is a 17.
Nice. We'll do one more just for 2 total, right? They look pretty. First one looks pretty hot, pretty styling.
Ooh, unnatural 20.
Are you rolling with advantage, you son of a bitch?
No, I rolled a
Oh,
single.
I was gonna say, I thought I heard a double click, and that's just me going crazy. All right, man, you make some crazy ass wood bolts. They look like the fanciest toothpicks you've ever seen.
Damn right.
And then just as that, you feel the Humvee shake as it comes to a full stop, And Dommy just like gets up. He's like, and he pulls out like this big like two-handed like you'd expect it to almost look like a minigun, but it's not quite like there yet. It's more of like a downgraded like assault rifle that's just been set to have a chamber that's like like a belt-fed chamber to it. And he carries this big like ammo crate with him as he walks out, and he's got his assault rifle on the other end. He kicks the door down as the sand crawlers. The door is a series of stairs, and he kicks it down and it lands into the sand. And he walks out and he's like, the township is awaiting us. Let us go. And Felix kind of looks at you and says, "Out the door, recruits. We got monsters to slay." And you see as you come out of the series, you see like you're not exactly in the town. You're kind of on an angle closer to the caves. But I would say you're behind essentially what would be one of the general stores, and one of the caves is about like 100 feet to your right, and then as you guys step out, you see Periax grabs the door and closes it, and then the crawler just creeps away slowly, but it just kind of rees around one of the corners and goes towards one of the bigger houses, and it kind of like perches up there. And Donnie says, "All right, crew, to the caves. See if we can find some tracks." He starts to kind of look down. Any of you guys good with survival?
I'm
Just
good
let
with
me roll
survival.
survival.
Well, feel free to roll for tracks. Survival
At
for
the
finding tracks.
perception.
Wait,
Um,
what terrain are
sure.
we?
We are in a desert.
Perfect. Favorite terrain.
Wonderful.
Are we looking for humanoids?
No, you're looking for what you would expect to be beast tracks, like large beast tracks.
Damn it. All right. Well, at least I get the advantage.
Waffle
for
rolled an
humanoid.
18.
18. Okay.
With advantage, I got a 19.
Nice. All right. So, for Waffle's perception, you don't because it's not quite the same as looking for tracks. You do see what looks. You do see where the Waffle's perception. He waffles it so well. You see off to the distance in the caves. You see what looks to be like from your perspective. You see a weird set of like reflecting kind of lights coming out of the cave.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
How far away is
for
the cave?
about 100 feet away, and in the same
Eldritch
sense,
Blast.
okay, and in the same regard, you find no, Pixie ends up looking as he looks down. He sees, you don't see a series of tracks, but you see a series of broken, like kind of like chitinous like plate, and a certain like insect. Yes, sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that word very well.
Chitin.
Exoskeleton.
Endoskeleton, actually.
Yes, thank you. As you guys kind of move forward, you see this giant flash of blast goes past into the cave.
Flash
And
Bass goes past.
flash of yes,
Want me to
flash.
roll
The
attack?
flash goes past. Yeah, you can roll attack.
Okay. Not 20.
Nice, nice. I'm gonna say roll with a. Was that a single one?
Yes.
Roll for disadvantage for me, please.
Okay. That is an 18.
18. All right, not bad, not bad. So as you kind of blast, you see the dwarf feel as you kind of put your hand up, or well, how do you cast?
I open my jaw and go.
Just open your mouth. As you kind of like set
you
to open,
shoot
you
to
see.
whoop it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
as you see the dwarf kind of like backhands you. You still kind of fire her off, but she's like, "It's too fucking early. What are you doing?" As Dommy kind of like ducks his head as he sees it go right past him, and he just like turns around like, "What the fuck? We haven't even gotten to the cave yet."
I love it. You just shoot to whoop it.
That does a
And the dwarf like grabs you by the neck, and says, "Wait till you see the creature. Stop giving away our position."
Did the 18 hit?
I'm gonna
It
hide.
did hit. You hit a chunk of the wall.
Can
As
I?
I'll let you roll damage.
That is 13 damage.
13 damage. Okay.
I'm gonna hide.
See a chunk of stone kind of breaks off. All right, roll me a stealth. How do you hide in this open sand desert?
I'm a fucking pixie. So I'm just going to literally just not fly because I still have 30 feet of movement. And I'm like this fucking big man. I'll just like crawl and just
I'm not trying to take away in that regard. I just wanted to hear it because I mean
it's
there are
it's
other people here.
it's more the thing like the good thing about being that small is I could literally at any point I could just drop down and just cover myself in dirt.
That,
And because I'm so small in a group of people, they will
oh yeah,
draw more attention than me.
oh yeah, absolutely. That's why I'm.
So
If you want to do that, you
yeah,
can do that. I'm just wondering how you stealth yourself in a
yeah,
certain way.
I
That's all.
keep myself low. Like I don't
Okay,
fly high. I fly low and stay between the legs, so that
okay.
if
What
I
do
see
your
anything,
wings
I
look
can
like?
just drop.
And then do you follow the tracks that you've kind of found?
I'm
Of
following them.
like,
I'm not following the tracks. I'm following them.
okay,
I
you
would
did see
point.
these tracks.
I would point them in the direction of the tracks, but I would
Okay,
not follow. I would tell them where to go, because
okay,
I
yeah.
want to
So
keep.
you,
Because I want to keep my stealth.
yeah, yeah. So you point out the
Yeah.
broken chitined armor or
Chitin.
endoskeleton. I
Oh,
will say it incorrectly just to make you bothered the
It's,
entire stream.
it,
You know me.
it will, and it will.
I am so excited to do this to you now. This is gonna be great.
uh,
As you pointed out, Tommy says, well, at least one of the newbies knows what they're doing. You look at Phil and he's just like, oh, it's so bright. Oh, why is the sun like this? The desert, it's too much for me. And Bob is
that's why
like,
you need sunglasses.
like can I borrow yours?
that's why
No.
I shoot to whoop.
You see, Phil is like, he's like in the middle of like loading his rifle, but it's like jammed. And you see him like turn it around and like is like looking at it like, what the fuck is going on? And then like he like Butterfinger drops it, and then he's just like, fucking guns, man. Like, and he picks it back up, and Dominic kind of leads the way, and Felix is in the back, and she's just like walking as she rubs her forehead, like, why do I get stuck with the newbies? And you guys
Waffles growls.
in about you can growl, feel free. Actually, make a stealth check in that regard.
That is it.
18, already, not bad. So everyone, you guys kind of take down a bit, and Felix kind of takes notice of that, and she like she's not sure, so she kind of like she doesn't really get down, but she puts her ear down at the ground to kind of listen. And Donnie kind of keeps walking, and Phil kind of keeps going at the same time too. You guys get about as you guys are slowly crawling. Felix has kind of like stopped following you guys. You guys haven't quite noticed that because she's filing in the back. As Donnie walks forward, you hear like a feeling of a shake as Felix says, "Get down!" As Dom jumps out of the way, and this like essentially this mole creature comes out of the ground, probably about 30 away from the cave, and just puts you see this mole creature essentially has what looks to be like a giant kind of like starred spiked nose tip as he comes out and he just impales Phil.
Show it the mole.
And Phil is just like, like what the fuck? As he like grabs his gun and squeezes off a trigger or two, and you hear, and we'll roll initiative.
21.
Okay. Senior Pixie?
22.
22. Oh, wow.
18
Well, you guys,
plus 4.
you guys are
I had
hot on
17 plus 4.
I sent you a picture of my thing.
I'm not saying that in disbelief. I'm just like, oh wow, like good roll. Yeah. So you start,
Dude, if we can just go for a second. Neither of you were there, but on my game on Thursday, my party went into combat, and I had one guy like actually here at my house, and I had to honestly get him to come up and tell my other party what I was rolling. I kid you not, I rolled 16 nat 20s in that fight. I almost dropped my
Wow.
whole party. And like they're high level, like just so you know, like everyone out there knows, like they're like level 16, 17, 14, and then another one's like they're all high, like they're epic,
Oof.
like they're high level,
Yeah.
right? So like at that point the gloves are off. If I roll nat
Just-
20, I roll nat, but I fucking kill. And the worst was one of my players made me use their lucky feat to make me re-roll a nat 20 in front of my other player. I re-rolled it, another nat 20. And then my buddy was
Wow.
just looking at me. It's like, what the fuck? I'm like, guys, I'm just rolling fire tonight, so I guess you're all gonna die. And
Wow.
in a 4-hour session, I fought them with 8 Nelfish Nay,
Oof.
and I did over 1,600 points of damage.
Yeah, I can imagine. D&D, it's crazy. Shit that happens is wild.
And like, and I only dropped that paladin fucking twice. Just so we're clear, this was all against a fucking paladin, and I still only dropped that motherfucker twice. But like, I could not believe my rolls, and like, cause Nelfish Nay, if you guys look them up, have triple attacks. So
Yeah.
like, oh my god, I was just. Anyway, I'm sorry, I didn't want to detract.
No, that's all good.
Dude,
interesting stories.
my
Good to know. That's what we're
rolls
here for.
that day were just disgusting. Just
All right.
disgusting.
So you are gonna go first, Senior. Senior Disgusty rolls.
That's this guy, right?
Yeah, Pixie Man. As you watch Phil get impaled by this mace mole.
How far away is he?
The mole is about 15 feet from you.
15 feet from me.
And you are still stealth, certain.
Then I will just roll an attack.
Okay.
With my little toothpick crossbow. That's an 18 plus 6.
Okay. Roll damage.
Cool.
Gosh. Hit me, baby.
I think that works. So, just so I'm clear, sneak dice is the 1d6, and then it's a d8 for the longbow.
Yes. Normally it only depends on certain advantages. I will give it to you for this one just because you were stealth beforehand. So
there's also
do the
new man. From Tasha's, man. As long as there's an enemy within 5 feet, I get stealth damage.
It's based off of
As
advantage.
long as there's an ally within
Yeah, as long as
Yeah.
there's an ally of mine within 5 feet.
which there is.
It's optional flanking is that's it.
No,
But yeah, you still have it.
I know. I'm just saying. I thought that was like sneak damage. Now was just that's just part of it.
Usually, it's just when you have advantage in general, and whenever the DM kind of decides in that regard. Like it's usually anytime you have advantage, you usually always get sneak attack, and then it's just if you're stealth or something like that, you usually get it too. Or there's usually situations flanking or being close to your allies, like pack tactics, is something that definitely could happen. I'm not gonna give you double advantage. You already have it.
No.
So.
I got I got the advantage, and I got the sneak. By the way, that's 8 damage in total.
Okay.
No,
cool.
sorry. 8 plus 4, 12 damage in total.
12 damage. Nice, good shot. Yeah, so you hit this thing, and you actually your shot like shoots it in the eye, and you hear this thing just go. It like tries to like shake off dead Phil on its face as Phil is like he throws his rifle to one side and falls limp completely. And Kate, you're good.
It just says
greasy boy.
D&D
15 feet away, yes?
Figure it out after.
I'm just gonna send it to you.
I know what you're talking about. We'll figure it out after. What? Go ahead.
It's 15 feet away, yes?
For you, It's 20 feet.
I crawl 10 feet,
Okay.
and using my kobold ability, I hiss, giving advantage to everyone until the
Okay.
end of
Nice. Just-
that is my turn.
Okay. Just break me off a piece of that hiss. Let's hear it. And this monolith, it's like eye shots, just like all tripped out. All right.
Giving my allies advantage
Alrighty. That's pretty
as long as
handy.
it was within 10 feet of see,
Alrighty. And then what was the
as
most
I terrify it.
Okie dokie. Is that like an intimidation thing?
Nope. Just
I'm
says
gonna read that after.
you give your allies advantage until the end of your next turn
Okay.
against foes that can see you within 10 feet
Oh,
ahead
okay.
of you as an action.
Cool. Okay. I just wasn't sure if it was like an intimidation. It's kind of scary thing.
Nope.
So
It's the frightful presence of the kobold.
I gotcha. I gotcha. The
From his
draconicness stuff. Okay. And then this guy's the mole's turn is gonna turn around and he's going to charge. Let's see who I want to choose. We got how many? 1, 2, 3. Got 5 people. 2d6. All right. It's gonna be Pixie Boy because he shot him in the eye. All right. Charges at you for a 15 to hit.
Does it go past me when I charge it?
Uh, it would have left your 10 foot, but it wasn't like you were on one side, he was on the other.
Okay.
Yep.
15 hits.
Alrighty. As it charges at you, you take 7 points of damage. Is it just kind of like I'd imagine it just kind of just slashes you by as you kind of like pixie fly and dodge it. Rainbow sparkles and things.
Can this thing fly?
The pixie can fly.
No, can it fly?
I mean, you don't appear to see any wings on it.
Good.
I hope that makes you feel better. And then Donnie is going to turn. Well, it's two of them, so they actually have the same initiative. Bob is still sitting there trying to pick up his gun. And the other two turn around and blast into the mole. And shred it to pieces. This mole falls dead. I'd say just turn around, just both from the other side. And this thing fucking just gets littered from both sides and just as Phil is still sitting there impaled on a spike. And Donnie walks up and just grabs him by his chest. The fucking newbies and just pulls him right off. If you guys want his equipment, go for it. I'm not taking his body here. Leave him for the birds.
God luck, everyone.
Does he have a health potion on him?
No. He's a newbie. He's got a rifle.
But I can't carry a rifle. I'm a fucking pixie.
I mean, technically you can. It's just gonna be it's because you're a pixie. It form fits.
It magically shrinks down to this.
It fits for your two-handed abilities.
I'm good. I got my crossbow, but I am
All right,
gonna
cool.
expend a hit dice.
Yeah. Sure, I'll let you do that.
One of my D8 and gain 7 health back. Yay!
As you sprinkle some magic dust on yourself.
If you take rest, I get my ability back.
We're not taking a rest, but he's essentially doing a quick bandage is the way I would describe it.
I'm gonna fly straight up 30 feet,
okay.
And then I'm gonna stay above the party this time.
Okay.
This time, but I'm gonna try and stay like in the sun, so if anything looks up, they don't see me; they see the sun.
Okay.
Waffle still crawls.
All right, cool. You can roll me a stealth there, Waffle, if you like.
Do I need to throw you a stealth?
15.
If you'd like to be stealthy about your tiny wings flapping for the creatures that seem to be subterranean.
Yeah.
Okay, feel free.
Do I get advantage because I'm in the air?
No, because they already can't see you anyways.
So that means I get advantage.
Sure, why not? There's not much more of a success I can give you by saying you
Dude,
succeed.
I'm
So just
level
sure,
2 and I have a +9 to stealth. Let me use it.
sure, sure. We'll
Like
let you use your stealth to fly above the ground
seriously.
for moles that are burrowing through the ground. I got you.
With my
Fly,
advantage
sneaky, fly,
and my
fly.
+9, I got a 21 to stealth.
21, cool. What about Waffle?
Waffle rolled 15.
Waffle roll 15. He's the sand shifts here and there. You don't hear the tiny wisps of fluttery rainbow wings just into the air. The other guys don't even seem to notice in that same regard. And then as Bob is still kind of like picking up his gun, he like finally picks it up and he looks around. He's like, "What the fuck is that? Where did that come from?" And he points to like the dead mole. What happened to Phil? And like Felix just kind of like walks up and hits him with the fucking gun and says, "Keep moving, man. We got fucking shit to hunt. Like if you're gonna sit here and die, we're gonna leave you behind."
Well, then why did you bonk him on the head? You should have sat there and let him die.
Do you say that?
Yeah. Like,
Say that. Where'd the fairy go?
and I'm just above flying away.
Just like looking around. Like looks every time she turns, she sees this corner of dust in her eye. She's like, "What the fuck is that? Where's the fairy?" Or it doesn't matter. And you guys kind of trek forward further into the caves as Dom keeps going.
You don't want
You
to
guys,
know where the fairy is.
you say that, and you feel like a slight rush is like you almost get a backhand, but you just pass by it, no problem, because you're sneaky. Just like goddamn fucking bugs.
I was
She's
out
like
down
swinging
the
around.
arm. 30
Careful.
feet in the air.
Fling that hand any closer and you'll meet Mr. McStabs. You've already seen Mrs. Mara in action. That's right. As a rite of passage for us fairies and fairy folk, in the Feywilds, we have to name our weapons stupid, frilly names. But just so you know, just because it's named Mr. McStabs doesn't mean it won't make your throat bleed any less.
As you have this very heated monologue, you see like the dwarf just kind of is like rubbing her temples as she just walks forward. As Dom gets to like the cave and he says, "This is a big cave."
I'm gonna make sure I fly and stay at the top of the cave. Like, basically almost brushing the top.
Yeah. Okay. And the cave mouth is probably like, I would say it's probably like a 50 feet kind of like diameter from like around the sides to the top. From like each side is 50 feet across to the top is 50 feet up from the center. So it'd be 100 total wise, and then 50 feet. Math is a fun thing. Anyways,
I would like to say hi to Sarah Vike in the chat. Sarah the
welcome to the
Viking.
pod.
Sarah the Viking, who can't seem to figure out her moderator powers.
That's okay.
She's stuck in Red Deer, but she's in the chat. You
We
know,
appreciate you.
she can't type anything, but she's here. She's here. We
Watching
feel
the
her.
ransom.
We feel you. We
The
feel
presence is there. And you guys approach into this cave. Dom leads forward and he says, "Oh, mole creatures, come out, you little cowards! It's time to die!" As you see him like pointing this gun left and right. Bob is
What
just
is
like, "It's too dark in here."
Druidcraft? What does Druidcraft do?
It's like the ability to
Waffle
make
has
small
dark
plants.
vision. Is there? Can Waffle see anything?
Yeah, you can, as you come in, like the light is kind of like you can see for a good kind of like probably 30 feet before your
Wait.
kind of dark vision really kicks in.
When you say small plants, what are we talking about? Like
Look up
grass?
Druidcraft. As I say, just look up Druidcraft. It's hard for me to explain it because I know what it is, but it's
Hold
very
on, because
specific.
that just made me. Hold on.
When you're in game and you discover you have spellcasting
No.
abilities,
I
man,
knew
what
I
a
had
twist.
that building. I knew I had the ability the whole time. You create a tiny, harmless sensory effect that predicts the weather will be at your location for the next 24 hours. So in other words, you can either predict the weather, instantly make flower blossom and seed pod open.
Well, I can let you get. We'll get around it in a certain depending on like if you're making a plant here. I'll tell you what kind of plant is likely to sprout here.
Here's why I bring it up.
Yes, tell me your specifically odd question that is infamous for D&D.
You're a gardener, right?
Oh boy, okay. Here's the sales pitch.
What's the chat? I need your help on this. What is the average height of a flower?
What kind of flower?
Let's say a tulip, the most generic flower anyone can think of.
It's probably
mean,
going to be
I
the
can think of
same,
a daisy.
same if not similar height to your
I want
character.
science first before I propose my question.
It's going to be about the same size as your character, roughly.
Is it?
Yes.
Yeah, about that.
So I could theoretically, as a fairy, this just hit me. Because you get
like
Druidcraft.
6 inches.
You can literally make flowers pop up and then hide behind it and then.
I don't know if you'll be able to hide behind it. You might be able to hide in it.
Up to 1 foot tall.
Yeah.
Up to 1 foot. Up to that's 13 inches. Anyway,
That would
please
be
continue.
12.
Just please continue.
All right, hold on here. You're making me look up things that I don't.
All of a sudden, the broken
That's
fairy and
not
rogue
that
build
thing.
is a real thing.
I wasn't bothered by that, but now I have to look up specifics.
Oh, see, Sarah's in the chat. Sarah's helping. She says they're up to 1 foot. That's a baker's
Okay,
foot, Sarah.
and
13
to-
inches is a baker's foot.
That's how that works.
Again, to add perspective to your fairy, as you think it's a tiny creature, it is not a tiny creature. It is a small creature. So you are again the similar size to other little kobold here.
What size? What? How big's a fairy?
They are categorized as small.
But that's what I want. The actual.
It's the same size as a kobold.
D&D size of fairy.
All right, we're moving the story forward because we're not going to sit here looking at rules all night.
Definitely.
As we
3 to 4 feet tall. A fairy is 3 to 4 feet tall.
I like you think this is a surprise. Somehow it's like it's not the same as a movie representation usually.
Who wants to be?
What a twist!
Who wants to be a
Apparently
4 foot
you
tall
do.
fairy?
Apparently you do.
My halfling is smaller than the fucking fairy.
That's because you chose to make him that small, but you're still the same
You might as
size
well-
category as a half.
If anything, they're more like the fucking dirty ass elves for Santa, just with wings.
I like you're now so jaded about this.
I am
creation.
so jaded. You have no idea.
Okay, as you guys push into this cave, Hila stays behind. She says, "I'm gonna keep make sure our exits are clear."
Eula.
No, I said Felis. She said, "You lot, go down." Man, you really got to stop manifesting your problems for previous player characters into our other games. I'm starting to notice a pattern here.
Sarah also heard Yola.
I'm not worried about what everyone heard. You guys are more than welcome to perceive what you think you perceive. Either way, as you lot proceed down further into the cave with Bob and Dami and Waffle and Rainbow Shine, who can't stop making faces at Waffle for some odd reason. Waffle, how do you interpret these faces as he stares deeply into your eyes and shakes his eyebrows at you?
Waffle wiggles his imaginary eyebrows back.
Over your
Waffle has
sunglasses.
no hair.
As you guys progress further into the hole, you do feel a series of shakes, similar to underneath you, and you hear like a bigger set of movements deeper into the cave, like a kind of like a low-ish moan.
Would you say those movements are near the bowels of the cave?
Nope. And we're gonna roll initiative.
Can I see anything with my dark vision?
You see the cave, like it goes in and down towards the further end, but you don't see anything other. For the most part, you actually see a series of gems actually going in the roof.
Can I see anything with his dark vision?
Excuse me?
You heard him. Can he see anything with my dark vision?
I think he has a problem seeing through your eyes right now.
No, he obviously has that 4th level warlock ability, see through another.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. That's cool. Cool story, bros. Anyways, you guys progress forward. You see some gems, Mr. Waffle, that was reflecting the light earlier that you saw and decided to shoot at.
22, by the way.
To to
For
what? Oh,
initiative.
initiative. Oh, okay, thank you.
How? So while we
Initiative, please.
walk into this cave,
Yes. I also
before
need your initiative, but yes.
but before I roll initiative, can I like
I'll
just
give you an interaction of certs that you
can
can do
you
before you roll
just
initiative.
just like while I'm in cave, I just want to be like the whole time casting druid craft on the roof.
Okay. Um. We'll roll an arcane check because this is solid stone.
Is it?
Yes, that's what I'm telling you. Would you like to
Can,
fight me on what the material of
no.
of the cave is?
I just
What kind
continue.
of stone is it?
I just really want to cast druid craft on that now.
That's fine.
What
Arcane.
kind of stone?
It's
My arcane roll is not good. If that makes things
Is it
better.
Stone?
I rolled a 6
Everyone's
for
arcane.
arcane.
You roll a 6. You as you try to go along, you try to like you feel like a series of kind of like vines almost kind of like drip out of your fingers as you kind of like drag along the roof. But it doesn't seem like it purchases into the stone, like it stays there and then it kind of you feel like it might fall or it might stay depending if you put more magic into it.
Is it
But
is the effect is it cracking the stone? Is it look
not
like
as much as you
is
not as much as you like. That was what the arcane check was for. If you
yeah?
had had a higher one, it would have penetrated the stone.
I'm trying to
Um,
yeah, because I'm trying to aerate the
Otherwise,
stone with
I
the
gotcha. Otherwise, you'd have to do a bit more work on it. You
okay.
could, but this is just kind of like the start of it.
So I'll roll initiative, but that would be what I'm doing. Is I'd be
Okay,
trying to aerate the roof
I'd give you like you'd
in
probably have
case.
2 3 turns as you walk into this area
Yeah,
as it happens.
just
So
to let you know, the goal would
yep,
be to
I
make the
gotcha. I
roof
understand what you're
loose.
thinking.
Yeah. So like
Yeah,
if we needed to escape, I could just like drag something along the roof and just break it.
yeah, yeah. Okay. And then Caden, what were you saying?
What kind of rock is there, though?
12 on
I
my
did not hear what you said.
thing.
What kind of rock is it? Is it a metamorphic rock, an igneous rock, or a sedimentary rock?
He said sandstone, so it'd be sedimentary, sir.
I'd
I
say
said sandstone.
as a sailor background, you are not familiar with the geography. I can't even think of the word for study of rocks right now. But you're not
Geography.
familiar. It's not geography. It's something else. But you're not as familiar as someone who literally does not do that every day. So it looks like stone, the stone you'd see in the desert that you've seen before. That's about it. It looks pretty generic to the same stone you've known through this area. You'd assume it's some kind of sand-ish because it's a desert. It's probably the most you're gonna get. Yeah.
Okay.
So uh, as the area kind of starts, apparently Caden's a bit quiet and turned himself up. Might be because of your weird voice accent.
Wow.
There you go. I think you need a little more bass in that wah though.
I'll be right back.
Okie dokie.
Wow.
As we take a quick, yeah,
Haha,
as we take
perfect
a quick
timing.
5 seconds, as C4 gets his pizza. You actually get to go first, Senor. So we'll let you do your thing while he's away. You hear a series of rumblings, similar to what you had before underneath you. You haven't seen anything yet, and then further deeper into the cave, you hear like louder, like low moaning. That sounds like a creature. It doesn't sound like a
Out of
person.
curiosity, how echoey is the cave?
Mm, From hearing these moans, it doesn't sound very echoey because you would assume maybe the cave doesn't go very deep, or maybe the opening is just too big.
So something like this.
Not really. The acoustics are not very well there.
Okay.
I know you just want to do that, but yeah.
Waffle
Sorry
will
to take
use
away from.
Eldritch Blast on the crystals. See
You're
if they
gonna
bounce off.
you're gonna shoot a crystal.
I will try to bounce off the crystal.
Okay. Um, we'll do an arcane check for that. I didn't hear you.
19.
19. Okay, okay. Interesting. All right. I'll explain that one a bit more as time goes on, because that'll be
Do you
your
want me to
turn.
roll the attack as well?
Not yet. I do want you to roll it eventually. It'll depend on what John does and what the other characters will do, because you just created a laser grid.
Yes, that is
As
the
a
goal.
kind of pops
Yes.
around.
That was the goal.
I figured. We'll roll it after though.
Sorry about that.
No worries. As you come back, we did Caden's turn. We'll get into what he did in a hot second. As the big guy kind of runs in, he's like, "I hear the mother," and you see like charges in, "Come face me, mole creature!" As he like fires a couple rounds into the roof, and he just kind of like aims down the hole, waiting for something to come out as he holds his action. The dwarf does another series of actions on her turn, and then I forgot about Bob. What did Bob get? This guy's an idiot. Oh, he got really low, so it's not his turn yet. John, it is your turn.
Um. Okay, what am I looking at?
So currently, as you're putting your vines of druidish craft, you see this guy firing off. As this is happening as well, you see the room kind of gets a little bit brighter in like the corner of your eye. You're not exactly sure what it is just yet, but because you're kind of busy up on the roof,
Okay.
you do notice in the roof as well. I forgot to describe that there are a series of kind of like gemstones that are like reflecting kind of light. You're still
Okay.
here. We can hear you, Kate. You're still good.
And I'm more focused on what we're hunting.
Okay, yeah. So before this had started, as the guy called out, you can't really feel it, but the ground, like the cave, seems to kind of be shaking as there's rumblings like underneath, similar to when the first mole had appeared. And you also hear low moaning as this guy is talking about how there's the mole probably further into the cave, and he's trying to call it out.
If he's doing that, my question to them, using my free action, is why are we sitting like idiots in a cave?
You
Wouldn't this be their favorited terrain? And
are you, are
after
you saying
saying
this just
yeah,
out
after
loud?
saying that as my free action, I'm gonna use my movement to move back 30 feet towards the entrance of the cave.
Okay. Yeah, as you kind of you say that the one guy doesn't really seem to hear. He's too busy with his assault rifle. And Bob just kind of like, because you're finishing your turn. Are you holding your action for anything, or are you going to do anything else?
So that was my movement. No, I'm gonna use my action to dash another 30 feet
Okay. You had only
towards.
gone about 50 feet into the cave.
Perfect. Then I'll be 10 feet out of the cave.
Okay. No problem. Um,
I
roll me a perception check if you don't mind.
got advantage on those, cause I'm in my favorite terrain. That's a 17.
Isn't that only survival checks? I'm not 100% sure. I don't remember.
I'm a ranger and rogue, so I got both.
Well, I mean, for your favorite terrain, I don't think that boosts your perception in that specific. I
Hold
think
on.
that just
It
does
says right here.
survival. I'm going to do a quick check because I'm
You
not
get
familiar.
advantage
It
on
says on
your
the sheet.
survival concerning creature type, get wisdom and int concerning terrain and
Favorite
traveling
terrain.
terrain.
I think it's just wisdom checks. It looks like it's wisdom survival checks specifically.
All right. Well, that is
So
still
it's
a
just a straight perception.
16 then.
16. You kind of take a sec to you notice that like as you're mentally kind of processing this weird setting, you notice the dwarf is gone.
Yep. That's why I left the cave.
And then you see Bob kind of running in there. He's like, "Let's just kill the mole. What are you doing?" As he like, you see him fumbling with his rifle as he's trying to pull the pin back.
Well, no, I use my free action to tell them to like not be in the place where we will die instantly. So it's up to
Roll
them.
a persuasion check.
Roll a persuasion. I just hope that they would just be not stupid. But okay, I'm not trying to persuade them. I'm just.
Okay, well you don't have to roll a persuasion check if you don't want to.
I mean, I'll roll it.
See, that was your first mistake with NPCs run by Mr. Insaniac.
People are stupid,
So
man.
persuasion is +0. So I got 15. I have no charisma. Straight 15.
You say that, and Bob kind of stops. He's like, "What are you talking about, man? Like, there's these moles. Like, we gotta kill the things. Don't you see it? Kill Phil."
And then they slowly come to realize.
He stops and looks at you like he's listening to you, but he doesn't understand why.
Oh, well then he's dead.
He stopped at the cave where you are. He's looking down the hall, but he's trying to talk to you. He's like, "Dude, like the mole killed Phil." Like,
Well then I would use the rest of my turn to tell him prepare to shoot.
yeah, I mean, you can. This is essentially his turn. He's trying to interact with you.
Yeah, so I would look at him and be like, "Shut up and point your gun that way."
That's what I was trying to do. Oh God! And he just turns around and like loads the gun.
And don't move. Do not go in the cave.
You say that, and he's already like about 10, 20 feet in the cave.
Alright, then he's dead.
Like, but he did stop. He didn't keep going.
Yeah.
But
Well, at least he'll be able to run out of there faster than the other ones.
and yeah, the big guy's in there. He's waiting for senior boss to come running out.
You mean death? He's waiting for his death, is what you're saying.
Perhaps that is part of this game. Sometimes, you know.
What? A bunch of dumb mercenaries walk into a cave where the things obviously dig underground, and what are they surrounded by? Ground? Oh my god! Why not stay out where, we have this thing called advantage? Especially, like, the ones of us that can fly, because the things, like,
I like this fueled rant internally that you're having. It's great.
If people... No, this is just my character. If people want to die at this point, it's like, well, you're stupid. Like, this is...
I know.
He walked... My character walked in 60 feet, looked around and said... Or 50 feet and looked around and said, this is a death trap. And walked 50 feet the fuck back out. And even told everyone it was a death trap.
And yeah, the big guy sits there. One of the smaller moles comes out as he makes his attack on the kobold man who is lying on the ground. He doesn't making it a disadvantage because he doesn't know that you're there. That's just kind of where he's coming out of. Where is my pluses?
Now, when you say he's an elevator, do you mean like
11th hit?
Of like the game? Does he elevate the game?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Or is he an elevator of like people's ambitions?
Does he lift people's spirits?
I don't even remember saying the word elevator, so yeah.
Well,
sure.
Apparently you don't remember saying Eula, but apparently the chat does. So
you mean the one person in chat?
The 3 people in chat. 4. You know what? We have a total of 4 people.
You mean the one person in chat who decided to comment that specific thing?
Yes.
Yes. Way to play that up. I didn't see that one coming.
Well, that person just so happens to be one of our most esteemed and illustrious.
Most esteemed and illustrious. Yes.
Yes.
So magnificent.
So magnificent. Yes.
Magnificent. Blah 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 blah. Anyways, yeah. So you get this mole creature that pops out of the ground, and the rumbling from the caves comes closer as you hear Dominic says, "Ah, there she is!" And you hear a couple of shots ring out. damage. So he lays. You hear a couple of shots right now. You guys don't quite see the creature from where he's standing because he's at like a corner of essentially a alcove that turns inward. But you hear the flashes and the shots ring out as you hear this loud like wail like. There's a couple of hits lay on, and then we are back to Kate's turn.
Use Eldritch Blast on the new mole.
Okay, he's within 5 feet of you. I don't know if that's with disadvantage on a spell attack. I don't quite remember. I think that's only ranged weapons. So just straight roll, we'll say.
Okay.
You get
That's a 14 hit.
14 does hit, yes.
Okay. And that will be a sheet. Waffle hits it for
Yes.
7 damage, and it's pushed back 10 feet.
Oh, 7 damage. Push it back. Nice, good push.
And then
Does it
I
have to do
move
a, does it
30
have to
feet
do a
away.
save for that? I thought it was a strength save. I don't quite
Is there a save, Mr. Warlock Expert?
look back on my locations here.
There's no
Only
save.
if you have the feet for it.
Which I do have the feet. Or not the feet, the invocation.
No. To be pushed back, that automatically happens.
Yes.
What I'm talking about is there's one that makes them go prone.
Yeah, no, I'm just using
That's
one
also
that
an
pushes it
invocation
back.
too.
Yeah, that's an invocation. But that's
Yeah.
no, the pushback.
Yeah, no save. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I'm just
The
yeah.
pushback automatically happens if it hits.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, you hit him and he moves back a little bit. You got some space.
And then I move 30 feet away.
You can make a
Okay.
Towards the
Which
exit
direction?
of the cave.
Which direction are you going, kid?
Towards the exit of the cave.
Okay. So you get 20 feet to the cave. You're kind of standing right beside Bob now. As he's busting off. And it's not his turn yet, but it will be his turn.
It's my bonus action to trip Bob.
He's standing there.
Oh.
Like he's not moving. Because someone
Never
told him
mind
to
then.
not move.
Good.
Even though he doesn't know why. Because he's not very smart, this one.
Well, that was my turn.
Okay.
After moving the 30 feet away.
And then Big Hoss's Lee is going to come in on Mr. Dom. Oh, God.
Does my laser grenade go off yet?
So, yeah, so when you hit, like, it hit, and it's just, all it's kind of done mainly, because it's not, you've mainly lit up the cave more so than anything. So a lot of, like, because, honestly, the way it redirected, it would have hit some of the creatures, had there been creatures in the direction, but some of them reflected, and then just kind of gave off a series of light. And most of them, like, the ones that you hit, have absorbed, like, the magic energy, so they are glowing, like, some of them are glowing a little bit brighter than the other ones. So you have essentially made a light source for like this area. So these humans aren't shooting with disadvantage anymore. And yeah, so Big Hoss comes in on that guy, and she got a 15, which I don't think it hits. I'm gonna check the stat really quick. It was that one. No, that does not hit. So she tries to like jump at him, and he's just like, "Aha, you stubborn bitch! You won't get me!" As he jumps back and just unloads again as his turn comes next. Double hits. Oh shit! That was a good fucking roll, bro. Max damages. Yeah. So he just lays into this fucking bitch. As this you see like as now you guys get a sense as you see this large like this large mole creature that had what would look like to be a series of spikes are actually more blunted down from, you'd imagine, from digging too much over time. And definitely at least 2 sizes larger than the smaller ones you dealt with. And as she jumps forward at him, he like jumps back effortlessly and just lays into her. You hear the ring out as she and falls and like crunches to the ground. You hear the ground kind of shake a little bit. And he's like, ha ha! He's like turns around celebrating. He's like, now the little one. And we go to Johnston. We still C4.
Do I see one?
Yeah, so there's one smaller one that had jumped at the kobold, and he pushed him back.
All right.
Still alive.
I'll attack him.
Do the thing.
With my bow. Is there an enemy within 5 feet of him?
No, because he got pushed back.
Does he see me? Or know my existence?
Technically, yes, because you're open in an open light now. And you've already kind of... You shouted out and made yourself kind of known without taking another stealth check.
That is a 23 to hit.
Definitely hits. Roll your damage. No sneak attack, but regular damage.
7.
Very nice, very nice. This thing looks like really fucked up from that hit. I'd say you like hit this thing in like what looks to be like almost an ear, but it's like a small kind of like rounded circle that seems to like almost look like a pulsating butthole or something. And you get it right in there, and like shakes his face. And then we go to Bob's turn. See what Bob can do. Oh, not bad. Bob got a 19 to hit. Looks like yelling at him helped him out.
Man, you know you're tired when you just like drain through 3 energy drinks like no problem. It's no one's business.
Yeah, that's fair. Keep going. So yeah, you see Bob as you're like, oh shit, there's another one, and he like reloads and like gets a shot, and he like, you see him kind of like actually shoot the same place that you hit, and he's like, yeah, I did it. Hey, this thing falls and he gets hit and it goes down. He's like, oh, I'm so great, I fucking killed it, man. Oh, it's my first one. Hell yeah.
I shoot him in the dick.
Yeah, you can. You can do whatever you like.
Good.
We are technically out of initiative, but you're free to do as you see fit. Roll your
Are we?
attack. Yeah.
We are almost at an hour and a half. Should we pause it there?
Oh no, I have a thing about to end it. Don't worry. If you want to shoot him in the dick, though, go ahead. I'm about to end it in a few hot minutes. This is planned. Shoot him in the dick. I don't care.
Awful,
Yeah.
burning hand.
Yeah, I'm gonna shoot him in the dick.
Okay, shoot him.
I did.
Roll longbow attack. What'd you get?
I'm gonna sneak too. I'm gonna stealth and then do it.
Yeah, I would give you advantage anyways because he's too hot in the fact that he's
And
just...
he's humanoid, so I get advantage.
That's true. You say he's too hot in the moment of being like, oh, I killed him, blah blah blah.
18 and a nat 20. So I will take that nat 20, thank you.
All right, roll the damage.
$20.
20.
I'd
Now-
like to think that rips off his dick.
Now yeah, yeah. I feel like you come behind him, and as you shoot him, you literally tear off all of his junk as he was mid celebrating, and as this happens, he literally falls face to the dirt. And the other guy is too busy celebrating. He's just like, yeah, we killed it. All right, let's get into the nest. There should be some eggs in here, from what the captain told me. Just smash them and we're done.
Yeah, let's go smash those eggs.
Waffle taps
Smash
Bob
those
on the
wiggles.
head.
What happens?
Waffle taps Bob on the head and leaves.
Tap him on the head. He doesn't move.
I bet you he would be. He'd be in so much pain.
Bob is
Or
dead.
dead.
Bob is straight up dead.
Well, you don't die from that. It's a slow bleed out death.
I mean, from the damage you did, He's pretty dead. You hit a very vital organ, and holy fuck, is he dead? That was a lot more damage than I fully anticipated. So, but that's fine. He was a throwaway character, so I'm not really upset about that.
All right, so let's go find these eggs.
Yeah, you go in. The nest isn't too far in. It's like literally a short feet. And as you get to this area, you see it's like a small kind of just rounded area. There's a smaller nest in the center. And the guy says, "Ah, there it is. All right, recruits, time to earn your money." You see as he
How
like
many of
points
us
at
are
the egg.
left?
There's right now you see you, the kobold, and this human.
You, the kobold, and this human. I attack the human because he's a humanoid.
Okay. You're gonna attack the mercenary that's there?
With an advantage, that is a
You don't
12.
have advantage. Well, I guess yeah.
It's
I'll say you have
humanoid.
I'll say you have a straight roll. I'll give you sneak attack, but it's a straight roll. Just because
Okay.
he's kind of anticipating something to happen, to be honest.
I would be within 5 feet of the.
14
human.
plus 6. That's a dirty 20.
That does hit.
Do, do, do. Seven plus 1 plus 4 is 12.
12 damage?
Yep.
Okie dokie. Here I was thinking in my back of
Is
my
it still
head.
alive?
Maybe they wouldn't attack the other guys, but you know, I knew better. I knew better.
Is he still alive?
Yes, he's still alive. How
I
much
just-
damage did you say?
Burning hands.
How much damage did you do? 12?
12.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
I just want
Burning
to.
hands. What is it? A deck save? Con save?
That's safe.
Deck save.
Little did they know I had a contract for the eggs on the side. I can get more for them on the black market than what the guy wants for. That's what I'll say as I shoot him. It's like, you think you're gonna give them to the commander? I can get more for these in the black market than anything you could ever want.
You
No
shoot
one.
him, and then all of a sudden this kobold lets his hands loose and
You should have
Toast
known
his
better
face.
than to trust.
he got a 10.
You should
Not
have
as
known
well.
better than to trust Pixie Rainbow or Star Pixie Sparkles and his accomplice. Isn't that right, Waffles?
You guys are hilarious.
Full roll 15 damage.
15 damage? Alright,
As a
cool.
burst of fire bursts out of his hands.
Now let's finish these noobs and take the prize for ourselves.
On his turn, he kind of looks as he gets the like the arrow kind of, I'd say, in his neck, but it doesn't like it hits like through, not all of through his neck, but like a small chunk. And he feels it burn half of his face. So he looks back with a charred, missing half of his beard and like black shit on his eyes. And he looks at you and he smiles. He says, "Oh, you guys are too good. Maybe you would have had a chance in the team, but you made that mistake." As he says, as he like opens his coat and he reaches to a radio and he presses a button. He says, "Coast is clear. Activate it." As you hear a series of as from the center of the cave, you hear a series of explosions as you feel the entire cave rock around you. And the not the entire cave, as you guys find that this area is not so badly intact because somehow this mole queen has made a good setup. But from your perspective, almost the entirety of the cave from where you came in is completely caved in except for this egg center. And this guy looks at you with a smile and says, "Looks like it's just you and me," as he like pulls out his knife.
I'm gonna use my what is it? The one, yeah. I'm gonna use my.
He's gonna make a
racial
jump.
ability and just
And he gets a 15 to hit you, fairy boy.
Does he leave without from 5 feet of me?
Uh,
'Cause I was within 5 feet of him.
no, I would say not, because the area of which the space is about 15 feet to the roof, and John didn't make it exactly clear how high he was till now, so I'm assuming he's within reach.
15 hits.
Okay. You take 8 points of slashing damage. As you
Cool.
feel this knife kind of like across your leg. And then it's back to you guys' turn. And I'm gonna say we're gonna call that at that because I honestly feel like you guys are gonna kick his ass. But that's anticipated. So you
Okay.
guys managed to beat this man's ass down. You take
Grab
his
the
equipment, and
eggs.
you guys are
Waffle
left in this
eats his
room with the
leg
egg.
off.
And
Sorry.
as you guys are sitting in this room, as we're gonna last leave it, you see, essentially this door of water open up, and all of a sudden this yellow pale like tan figure with like weirdly like orange and blackish robes falls ass backwards out of the fucking thing and onto his face as he flips
Well,
over.
let's kill this guy first before we get there.
And
All right.
that's well, this is where we're leaving it. So you tell me how I'm ending my stream. As he falls out of the porter, you guys get to see this guy landing there,
And
with face on his face in the dirt, as he fell through this door of water, and
a
you
door
guys
of
and we
water. Could
yeah,
the
and you end
water
up
be
looking
falling?
no, because
Or is it
as he falls, the door disappears, and
So
you guys
Was
are
the
left in
water
this room.
falling or
You
rising?
guys are
So is
left
it
in this room.
evaporating?
You guys are left in this room with this pale yellow figure, and we're gonna leave it off on that one. And we will see you guys next time if we decide.
I
to
am
come
sorry you had nothing better to do. I'm glad you spent it
We
with
love
us
you all.
here. I'm Seafood.
Waffle
That was
eats
Insaniac.
their leg.
Below me is the Greasy Boy. And we are three of the villains of the Villains Talk Show. And we'll catch you
We
guys
love
on Wednesday
you.
for the actual talk show and
Check out the
podcast.
Minions Hub.
Catch us
All
on
the
anywhere
social
you
media
catch
stuff.
Catch us on anywhere you get your podcasts, on Google Play Music, on Google Play, Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon
Yeah,
Music,
you gotta work on a rhyme for
YouTube.
that.
Lots of stuff and
Social media trees, link tree. Check out